excited to talk to you today about my journey on how I became a certified Gallup strengths coach. So believe it or not, this journey began in 2003 when I was a new manager working at the Teach for America national office. And somebody gave me the book, First Break All the Rules. It was about managing and how to manage successfully. And I was soaking everything up I could at the time because I didn't know much about managing, and I took my responsibility leading my team of 5 very seriously. And one of the key tenets of the book was really how important it is to focus on strengths. And what it argues is that, if you spend an X amount of time, 10 hours, 20 hours, 100 hours, working on areas that don't come as naturally to you, you will get better. But you will at some point hit a ceiling on how good you can get. Whereas if you take that same amount of time, 10, 20, 100 hours, and use it to leverage your strengths, you will grow exponentially and unleash power that you didn't even know you could have. And this was really appealing to me and also counterintuitive because as human beings, we are hardwired to see the negative, right? Which I'm sure has some roots in how we evolved and survived as a species, but also can be really challenging when you're deficit focused, both as a person, as a manager, and that's really all of us in some way as human beings. So it really kind of flipped my thinking about what successful managers did. So starting then, and there were a couple follow-up books, Now Discover Your Strengths, and then there was StrengthsFinder 2.0, and I kept reading and using it all along the way. I used it with teams that I managed. I used it with teams through layers that I managed. We would have people take the assessment, we talk about it, I kind of do these bootleg versions of it, and it was always incredibly successful for a couple of reasons. One, it gave everyone on the team a common language that was asset-based to talk about what came naturally to us, which really is what your strengths are, right? What just comes to you so naturally and effortlessly. And it's interesting, often when people read their strengths report, they're like, but that's not a strength, everyone can do that. And it's like, no, actually everyone can't do that. That is something that comes to you so naturally. You don't even see it as something you do, but it is, it's a strength. So my number one strength is Activator. I bring a lot of enthusiasm to projects, a lot of startup energy. And I'm like, but isn't everyone just this way? No, everyone is not that way. It's actually a strength. And if you think about it as such, you can leverage it and move forward. So that common language and framework was incredibly helpful. It also really helped reframe the way that we were talking and thinking about each other. Because the language is all asset-based, it became clear, whereas I'm an Activator strength, and I bring this enthusiasm and energy to getting started, I might work with people who I found frustrating. And actually it turns out that they were a deliberative strength. And deliberative strengths need a lot of time to think through all the possible outcomes before they make a decision. And so often when deliberator and activator sit together at a table, there can be some tension because one's fired up and ready to go, and the other's hold on, pump the brakes, what can we do? And when I worked on teams with people like that, no matter what my role was, to be able to use that language, to describe each other and have it be asset-based was incredibly helpful. Everyone always enjoyed the professional development, my bootleg versions and all. We'd take the test, we'd read some articles we found on the web. People left feeling really good about it, and I found that it was always worth it. It always paid off. We were always able to come back to it later in the year. And it really helped me as a manager because it helped me think about, what people are best for what situations. I need a deliberative strength in the room with me when I'm making a decision to help balance out my enthusiasm and activism. It is incredibly helpful for me to have people on my team who are really strategic, who could pull back and see at 20,000 feet all the different outcomes that were coming, and think about what the pros and cons would be. So it also really allowed me as a manager to use my team in a more sophisticated way, and in a way that they also really enjoyed because I was often bringing them in on things that were just easy and fun for them to do, and it also helped at the time my school or my nonprofit work better and go from there. So I decided in February of 2021 to become a certified Gallup strengths coach. And basically this was because I have been a huge Gallup strengths geek for now well over 15 years. And it felt like I wanted to learn more about it. I not only wanted to understand more about, I knew a lot about my strengths, but not as much about strengths that weren't in my top 10. I wanted to understand how different strengths influence each other. If you have this pair, how do they pair together? How do they play with each other? Peanut butter is great, jelly and great. Peanut butter and jelly is a whole new thing. Same thing, when I bring my activator with my empathy, my number 2 strength, what does that mean and what does that do and how does that work? And really after leading and working primarily in schools for the past 20 years, it was just so clear to me that there is not one right way or path to be an amazing teacher. There are many ways, and that goes for any industry, for sales or whatever it might be. When you're thinking about a goal orientation, there are a lot of ways to reach that goal. And which is great because there are people with lots of different skill sets and strengths that they can bring to bear in that situation. So I was interested in when you're thinking about a common goal, how can leaders and managers help people bring their different strengths to those situations to achieve their goals? And I really just wanted to learn more. And so it was really helpful. I spent 4 days on Zoom for like 10 hours a day. I took a 100-question test that I'm proud to say that I aced. I did a bunch of coaching for people to get their so that Gallup could collect their evaluations and make sure that I was legit and helpful at drawing people out. And it has been just a really great journey. So I became officially strength certified. I'm really excited to add that to my portfolio. And it's not the primary thing that I do as someone who has my own business, but it is really helpful because I bring this lens to everything I do, because there are always strengths to be found in any situation. There are always assets to be found. There's always something to build on. And that's something that I truly believe in my soul, which may be because of my number 3 strength, positivity. But it has been really influential to me. So I am really excited as I launch my own business to launch some packages that are described on my website, where I can work with individuals, I can work with managers to understand their teams, I can work with teams directly. And I think there's a lot to understanding how this pays off, because the reality is that folks whose managers lead with a strengths orientation and who've done strengths assessments and training and follow-up, which I really honestly, a couple of hours, right, of staff meetings or time and professional development, are 6 times as likely to be engaged employees. They are 3 times as likely to have a high quality of life and describe themselves. And they're also 6 times as likely to say they have the opportunity to do what they do best every day. The simple act of a manager taking a group through the strengths coach and working with the strengths coach on both their managing through it and then working with the team on that increases the productivity of teams 12.5%. That one thing, Gallup's research has shown, increases productivity 12.5%. So I'm really excited to do this. I'm really passionate about it. I think it's a really great tool. And I've taken it several times over the year. Now, 76% of the time, the results don't change. I am in the 24% whose people do, which I'm happy to get into at a future date and time. But I am really excited to do this and hope that you can explore my website and see some of the packages and reach out if you're interested in learning more about this and what this could look like for you or for your organization. Have a great day.